Yeah. Yeah, you just have to go live from your OBS.
Okay, so let's see if we're all good now. Alright, do you want to load, see if things are...
Just reloaded and it says that we are still waiting.
Have I scheduled it wrong? Alright.
7 June at
Oh.
12, yeah, correct.
Alright, so... Rewatching. What is happening?
Waiting is us, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because you've got it on your one, I've got it on my one, and then
it says connection is excellent, but it's showing us the old stream.
Oh, yeah, you're live.
We're
okay,
live?
We're live? Okay.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
See, my phone ding-donged me.
Alright, so shall we begin then?
Yes.
Alright.
Yes.
Alright. Okay.
Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Weekly WAYPN. I'm Cal.
And I'm Sunny.
AKA
Henry and Sangita, and we have...
Mishmash.
Mishmash.
I didn't have a lot of energy for that one.
Alright.
Hi.
Hello.
And this is...
No, I have the energy. There we go.
This is Mishmash. Hold up. This is the better
This is
pitch.
the real Mishmash.
Yes, the real...
The real Mishmash. True.
Well, the real Mishmash. Please stand.
And I would just come up to, like table height at that point, but...
Yep.
Well, we've got a sit stand table, so we can work with you on that one.
Oh.
But
we're full eyes. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. So this is Mishmash. This is Mishmash's channel, and we are streaming at a very different time for once, but we wanted to get Mishmash on. So Mishmash, would you like to introduce yourself and talk about what you do while we steal your content in GIF form?
That works for me. I'm Mishmash. I paint things and I convert things. Mostly Warhammer 40k, but I kind of paint everything. I'm mostly known for converting random Space Marine stuff because who doesn't love Space Marines? Even if you don't, you do probably. But yeah, I like to paint. I like painting dollies. That's pretty much what I'm known for.
Yeah.
Occasional lore stuff, but mostly stuff that I get wrong.
Mostly stuff you get.
And you also like to live stream some of your process from time to time as well.
Yes, that's true. I do an occasion. I mean, every not occasional. It's been a ongoing. Every Friday I stream either painting or just talking. Tomorrow I'm actually doing a Q&A stream, so that'll be fun. But we hit 6K, so
nice.
I meant to do it for 5K, but
well done. Yeah, no, that's the way it is, because like if you go up, like we're like, oh great, we got like 10,000 people, and then it's like, oh, you got an 11,000, like, woo, 12,000. You're like, what? And then it's nothing for ages, and you're just like, oh, okay, it's all right, I won't cry.
I see I'm going down the drain.
Yes.
I am going through a redundancy from the YouTubes.
Yes, but we will...
It's anytime I take a detour from the usual, but I don't know. It seems like I can get away with more now, but...
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. All right, shall we begin?
We shall.
All right, Sunny, would you like to read out from the person who doesn't love us? Because they're not doing a post specifically for us.
No, I don't want to see it.
Oh, I see.
Because look how long that description is.
And it's not posted specifically for us.
Yeah,
is it Genuine Vision?
Genuine only shares his post. He does not post. Well, anyway.
He does do a very great paint job though.
Yes.
All right, Mishmash, would you like to tell us what you think of this paint job? I think it's painted to showcase level.
Yeah, I quite like it. I really like the greens. It really does catch the eye. I like, and I'm a sucker for like earthy tones and whatnot. There's some details that are left obscure, but it works. There's definitely it feels very saturated, but very, I don't know. I'm a big fan of just like, there's a realism to it, but I don't know. It's not something I would probably want to paint myself, but I like it. I think it's very well done. I really like the purple kind of magenta-ish wings to the green.
Yeah, I would agree with that's not something that I would like to paint myself, but it has like you said, like that sort of in between of like a pin-up model, the way that she's sort of laying and the realism, because
yeah, I do find it a bit odd the way it's sculpted, because her wings look very cartoonish the way it's sculpted.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the model is very realistic.
Yeah.
And it's a very difficult model in that sense to balance everything to look like it matches.
Yeah.
And I think Genuine has done an excellent job of trying to make everything cohesive through the colors at the very least. Because look at the wings.
I think he's painted these wings in rather than like
the freehand is also really good, especially on the wings and the corners. I really like the I don't know, I like the color palette a lot. There's I think it's not only well done. I love the lushness of the green as well.
Well, I think let us move on to something that we can comment on a little more easily. So this is John's. Would you like to read out, John?
Sometimes I feel like the new Terminators, while looking pretty, are somehow more complex to build than the older Terminators.
All right, we'll throw this one to you, Mishmash. What do you think?
Let me go to live. There we go. Now I can actually see. I don't have the link open. I'm just going off of the actual live stream. So I like it. Yeah.
He's got to wait for the demo.
So I wish he would take more pictures. I'll say that first and foremost, because there's interest. I think some of the more interesting details are actually obscured by the lack of focus on the model. Because I'm looking at the greaves. I like the half and half red and white.
Yeah.
And I like the color scheme. I also like the again, I would rather he would take more pictures, but I like it. I think it's a good start. I like the gauntlet a lot. I really like how smoothly you painted the bolter, or the bolt gun rather, or whatever. I mean, both works.
Storm bolter, I think they're called the Terminators ones. Yep.
But yeah, more of the chips. I would say one thing that I would like more, and it's because it's personal preference, but I really like Space Marines with chips, and for how, like, you picked a color that's very, it's kind of that dark gray, but I mean, like the base armor, like the pauldrons, he kind of has this chipped outline that looks really good. I feel like adding a little bit more.
We'll see.
On I wish I could have my cursor by the Crux Terminatus symbol.
Yeah.
Just add a little bit more of that highlight.
Well,
a little bit more of the random chips.
That's one of the things that we've been talking to John about. So I think it's rather than chips, he's trying to do a clean edge highlight, and he's having some trouble with it. But that might be a way to go. Instead of doing an edge highlight, just bust out the sponge and, like you said,
chipping.
Because that is the thing, you got to paint for you, and like, for example, if you don't have a hand that is super smooth, like you got a bit of
steady,
if you've got a little shake, some of the times find shortcuts that work for you rather than trying to work within those issues, if it makes sense. All right, let us move on to the next one. All right, so are you ready to read out?
Yes.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah, from Liam. Hello, I'm Liam, and something to know about me is I'm a small-time hobbyist and post some of my works on YouTube and some other Facebook pages. Here is some things I have painted and like to share with everyone.
So, I think we'll focus on this Marine and then another one, because I think these are all previous paint jobs rather than what they're painting now, and that's what this Facebook group is about. What you're painting now.
Yeah.
So Mishmash, would you like to give us your thoughts on this one?
It's still up. Okay, so the Thousand Sun, I quite like it. It's kind of a take on there's a bit of the old Thousand Sun color scheme, the 30K rather. Um, I think there's one thing again, and this is a very important thing for painters to grasp, I guess, is I want to see more of the detail on this, but the photography is a little obscured.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I like the colors. I like the use of the bolt rifle converted into a Zinchian one.
yeah.
And I like that the purity seal has been replaced with the Zinch's symbol.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice.
There's a
Yes.
lot to like. I really like the airbrushed Zinch symbol on the loincloth.
Yeah,
I also really, if you could scroll down to the base really quick,
yeah.
mm, I really like the basing material that they used. I like the. I didn't notice that. I like the decals on the bolt rifle as well.
Oh, you
The
see,
little.
oh, they are
I didn't notice
decals. You're
that.
right. They are decals.
Yeah.
I thought they might just be either details from the model itself,
Mm.
but you're right. They are decals because I can only notice now because of the slight edge on the film from this
Mhm.
one and these ones. But yeah,
I
please
would
continue.
suggest too on the rim of the base, paint the rim of the base too, because that adds either
Yeah.
go completely over with the. I
Yep.
think some
Yep.
people don't do that, and I understand why for gaming purposes, but for a diorama, don't be afraid to just add a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
it just adds a little bit more character to it.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
I think it looks really good. Sunny, do you have any commentary on this one?
So I believe this is the Joy Toy version, right? 'Cause it
I'm not
doesn't
sure
look-
if it's a Joy Toy or if it's a 3D
'cause,
print.
like,
What do you guys think?
You can take a look at there's so many elements to this that you would not see on the regular GW models.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like the spikes on the backpack there, the
Mhm.
way that it's done, and the biggest giveaway is the knee. You
Yeah.
see how
It
the
jumps
rubber,
up.
Oh yeah.
the rubber, yeah, like that. That's not something that you see.
Well,
Mhm.
we see this line right here. Maybe that's where the regular Marines sort of pad stops, but I don't know one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like this could be just a full on toy available by them, but I don't know. So I think
It's definitely converted because of the bolter, though.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm noticing.
I think they
Yeah.
The
definitely added on
bolters.
parts to it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure what is and isn't done, sort of thing.
Yeah, because the paint job looks so smooth that it looks like a lack of finish.
Yeah, it looks like it is a toy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm a bit like confused how the process is done for
Mm.
this because it's not something we see at all with mini
But-
painting.
When it comes to the photography, there was one in particular that I noticed, which I think has good photography, despite the fact that it's still got those anime eyes, which I think is intentional. See how we can see along here? We can see that coloration in there, and I think that's where you do it best, where you do that sort of cell shade style.
Yeah.
You know, like work with the model you've got. Like, don't try and fight the model, because if you're gonna try and fight the model, you're always going to lose, right? You can't fight reality, and that's the one thing I noticed. But I will 100% agree with you, Mishmash. Like, I think that Liam's biggest thing is that they need to take better pictures of their miniatures. We've got a short on it that maybe we should link to that post, but I think we'll end on this one because it's
Yeah,
we'll go
it
there.
really is. I
Yeah.
feel like your lighting might be a little far away because it's very like it completely covers the model. Like
Mm.
it feels like it isn't concentrated. It feels like it's just kind of like up close, and as a result, it looks a little washed out. And I feel like there's
Yeah,
more
washed
detail
out,
there
yeah.
that
I
I'm
do
not
agree.
seeing.
Yeah.
And then in contrast to that super black background, which suggests to me that a lot of the pictures I can see a fuzzy outline. So I think he's gone into Photoshop to remove the background manually.
Yeah.
So that it's just the model showing. And that's well and good. It's just that with the lighting, it just makes it so difficult to tell exactly how
Yeah,
to
yeah,
read
yeah.
this
100%,
model.
100%. And guys,
not bad at all.
feel free to comment. I can English. If you would like. But next up, we've got more from John.
Oh, hey,
Which-
there are people in the chat.
Hey, what?
Yeah,
What
I
is
think
it?
it's probably came from Mishmash's server.
Okay, let's see. I'll click
Got some
reload
crawdads
because
here.
Because it didn't show up.
Yeah, no, because I was just like, I saw a lot of people on.
Well, Sergeant T is here.
Okay, give me a second. I'm going to just okay. I'm gonna pop this out because obviously something has gone wrong, and we're gonna just do a quick fix on the back end. All right. Give me one moment. Would you like to read out while I'm doing this fix?
Yeah, sure. So Will Penn says Mishmash Crawdad reporting in
My fan base's terminology.
Yes, I figured as much. And Teb says, "Hey guys, I love your stuff, especially the Legion videos, breakdown design,
Oh,
and
thank
meaning."
you so much.
Thanks. Yes, we
That was
work hard.
lovely.
We
Channel
work-
member of mine, actually.
Oh,
So
well, welcome, Mr. Channel member. And then we have Bash Kai. Wow, it's live while I'm still awake. Lol. Yes.
Well, we are trying to have different guests on from different time zones.
Yes.
So that people can participate, because we've had somebody on the Discord say, but it's always better live. So yeah. All right.
Bash Kai says, "I can hear Mishmash fine, but can hardly hear you guys."
Can hardly hear us. Okay, give me a moment. I'll up our audio input.
How's it now, Bash?
Well, he'll take a while to
yeah.
respond, of course. But there we go. All right. Would you like to read out, please?
The next post.
Yes, the next post.
Yes, sorry. I was looking at Sergeant T's comment. I hadn't read that one yet.
Oh, all right.
He's
Well,
home due to a dental appointment.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Lunchtime stream. Yes, Nicholas
nice.
Pryor.
Hey, it's Nick. Hey, Nick. Welcome. Okay, much better, he says, Sergeant
Alright,
T. So I
thank
guess
you.
everyone else is having the same issue. All right. First miniature ever painted. Yes, I bought a squad of rubric marines, aka dustbins. I haven't finished the whole squad, and now I somehow have around 2,800 points of Dark Angels Lamau. Anyway, what do you think of my progress? The gap is around a year of painting. A year ago, I bought them and first got into mini painting and 40k, and somehow switched armies in like a month later, hoping to progress even more.
I think it's very hard to gauge the progress because there's such different types of models.
Yeah.
So I'll take a look here. But sorry, I jumped in before, I guess. Mishmash, please tell us what you think of the Thousand Sun Marine, and then I'll switch.
So
that's the first one, yeah.
Few things, yeah. So a few things. Very bold choice to do Thousand Suns, and I really respect that. I think you did a really good job here, actually, and their Thousand Suns are one of the most difficult armies to paint. So I think a lot of what I'm seeing is really good. There's obviously some small areas, at least to me, that jump out. That, like the bolt gun magazine, there's a little bit of the blue that's peeking through, but it screams that this is a Thousand Suns. So if you're going for tabletop standard, I don't think anyone would complain. I like this. I mean, I'm a sucker for Thousand Suns to begin with, so like, I like it. It's just about I mean, like on the legs a little bit. There's some areas that need a little cleanup, and that comes with time. But yeah, I like it so far. I think there is promise, and forcing yourself to paint an army like this early on will really get you to I don't know. It's like driving in a huge city. You're gonna get used to the worst of it.
Yeah.
By going in with the most difficult.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself through the ringer before the easy stages, and I think that will help significantly.
Yeah. All right. So then we've got his progress, and it's here, and I'm gonna zoom in on it because I think it's a bit. There, it's covering most of the screen now.
Beep beep beep.
All right, so you
take a moment for it to come through on my end.
Yeah, all good. You're up to date with the stream, people. Has it come through now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great.
So
yeah, I see that here.
Yep. I think now that we have more context, since this is the one that is supposed, so this is the one that is after doing a lot of
This is
practice and whatnot.
years worth of practice.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so I can tell because primarily, obviously the tabard is the biggest thing that stands out.
Yeah.
And I assume that there's some things that he's still trying to finish with this, because I noticed the back of the shield hasn't been fully primed yet.
Yeah.
But the red, the only thing that I'm seeing with the cloth that might need a little bit of extra love and attention is the left side, or his right. The highlight is a little bold, but but beyond that, I think the rest of it is actually pretty perfect.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, the blending is really good. The highlight placement is superb, especially like the way it catches in the middle, on the chest cloth rather. I don't know. I really like that. I think it's very well done.
Well, for me, with the cloth, I think it could do with some bolder highlights. Like, the thing is, if we take a look at this, in my opinion, what it needs is a transition color, because we go from very bright to very dark, right? This is almost like non-metallic metal levels of light to dark. And like the other thing is, I think we said it before. I think you can have very bold highlights like this, edge highlights, if you can highlight within that highlight. You know? Because like that looks really good, and I've seen a lot of GW people actually do that. They'll do 2 levels of edge highlighting.
Yeah, but I think that might be a bit sort of
too advanced
at this point. I will agree with a lot of what Mishmash has already said. I do think the tabard seems to be the most attention grabbing of the model, because a lot of it is just straight up black. I think for that, highlighting black and highlighting white is some of the hardest thing that you can do, along with certain types of oranges and of course yellows. These are the hardest colors to master. So I think if he could work a bit more on trying to shade those blacks, it will create a bit more visual interest with this model. And also to, bring out those high points with the reds a bit more cleanly as well. And I think that will just step up his game from here.
1 second. So I just would like to read out this comment from Captain Cappuccino. Sorry, is it
Captain Nemo.
Captain Nemo.
Oh, it's Captain Nemo.
Yeah.
I thought it was Captain Cappuccino. I don't know what happened to my...
I'd like a Captain Cappuccino.
You can enjoy the soda pop and like it.
I want the mocha.
You're a 12-year-old boy, according to the internet,
it is
so you
true.
will enjoy your sody pops.
Yeah, my sody pops.
All right. I wish I could enjoy this half as much as you. Knowing the theory and technicality behind it must make it much more enjoyable to see the planning behind this mini. Well, see, the thing is, we aren't as good as you think, right? We, like, when it came to Old Mate from before,
Talk about
Genuine Vision,
yeah.
like, much more advanced painter, right? But the thing is, we think that we can help people step up to at least where we are, or move beyond. And the thing is, the whole goal of criticism is, if it is constructive criticism, what it should be is it should be focusing on what the person's goal is and how to help them. And that's something that we would really like the internet to embrace a bit more. I know, nuance. It's the internet's really good for that one. But yeah, I think we've said pretty much all we can on this one. So shall we move on? Is there anything else you wanted to add, Mishmash?
Well, I think just to add on to response to the comment, I think it's one of those things that it isn't so much that, like, knowing what looks good is very. I try to take that with a grain of salt, because at the same time there is color theory, there is the principles beyond what, or within what looks good, what doesn't look good to certain people. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things that I don't really see. I know a lot of painters primarily try to focus on one goal.
Mm.
And some of them are just trying to get a miniature ready for the game. They want to play the game.
Mm.
Or you are more like me, where I just like having my guys. I don't really play the games. I paint for fun. And I think like I'm not the greatest painter. I'm definitely like I can paint really well when I really want to. And when I really want to hunker down on something, at least I think anyway.
Yeah.
But there is this skill ceiling, but I think that, you know, some people are born with natural talent, but one of the biggest things to remember is that, like, with drawing, and, you know, a very good example of this is, you know, we had one of the most popular YouTubers on the platform, PewDiePie. He proved that after drawing for 100 days, you can improve. So there's no sense in, like, you know, if you can put the time and effort into it, anyone can learn to get, you know,
Really
to
good.
I don't even like to say to our levels. I like to think that everyone is learning at their own pace and like figuring out their own thing. I've never seen two painters that like, unless you're specifically going for the heavy metal style, I've never seen two painters that paint the same. Ever.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's going to be hopefully that will be our returning video, finding your style, and it's actually from three painters from here, and we are giving a bit of a preview here, but it would be from Alex Coe, from Justin, and from Brushstroke. So hopefully, yeah, exactly to your point. And when I say our level is not as high as you may think.
No, and I think I want to make it clear I didn't take it like that either.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to add a self jab in there.
No, like painting is one of those things that it's like, I think a lot of people get hung up on that they don't paint as well as certain like people, and
I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Not to dox myself too much, but I've seen Ninjon and Scott's miniatures in person.
Oh yeah.
And it is otherworldly, but it's like, you know, not everyone can do that. It's a very rare, you know, but you know, I have a very scrunkly art style with my drawing, and I know people that I would say draw way better than me.
Yeah.
That are like, I wish I could draw like your cartoony stuff. I'm like, why? Like, you know, but it's just subjective rather.
Well, Captain Nemo actually responded. So he said, drawing for 100 days. I'm usually hesitant to post my stuff because of that. I don't do minis but Gunpla, and the hobby gets in where it fits in, which is likely why my skills haven't improved.
So you're saying that you don't have enough time, and that is one of the things that we comment on our videos. Like, and I get very frustrated with some of the comments where people say, "Oh, maybe if you don't have enough time, you're not in the right hobby," and it's like, what are you talking about? Everybody's being pushed at the moment. And like people are struggling. Let them enjoy what they can when they can.
Yeah.
But speaking of,
it is time for Nicholas' future. Are you here, Nick?
I like this already.
Are you watch it? Okay. Yes, finished up my Mr. Sinister today. I wanted to push the highlight of the skin a bit more, but was afraid if it would wash out the teeth.
I understand that.
Yeah, okay, I totally get that because you've got the nice pearly whites going on.
All right, so Mishmash, give us your thoughts.
So
I know that guy.
There's a very interesting art style going on here because it feels like obviously they're going off of the actual art style for the comics.
Yeah.
The shadows are very bold.
Yeah.
You're
not wrong.
I love the I like the mold for this model, by the way. I just want to mention that.
Oh yeah, it's a great sculpt.
I love the like Buzz Lightyear-esque grin he's got going on right there.
Very charismatic guy.
Yeah,
I like the pose a lot. There's a lot to like. The colors are very interesting. So I think if there's, and I think this was intentional.
Yeah.
So looking at it, I like all of it, but I will say this, and it's the fact that he is very like almost cell shaded with the way that the shadows are in the recesses. There's
Yeah.
like it's like pure black. Looking at the smoke where it's like green,
Where
like
it's
all green and
textured.
just shaded green.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of clashes with this comic book style of the figure. So I feel like there's a lot of really good stuff here. It just all of it looks a little bit different from one another.
Yeah.
And
So
if there's one suggestion I would make, do either the same art style for the green or do the same art style for just the figure. Personally, I would say just doing the black on the green
yeah.
fog
So
and going all in with the cartoon style. I would really
do,
like that.
do you
But yeah,
mind
I
if I
like
cut
it.
in for a moment? So
Yeah,
just
yeah. Go right ahead.
put your hand over like the bottom half of him, right? And see. So it's just from the torso up. Would that green smoke fit better? So just this green smoke
Oh,
along here.
yeah.
Yeah, because I 100% understand what you're saying, because when it comes down here, it becomes a lot more textured, and
Mhm.
I think I agree with you on that. I think if it wasn't just for this part, and I'm sure that he's trying to get like a certain effect here. So
Yeah.
so for me, the biggest one was the back of the cape. I
Yeah.
would agree with you 100% on that, because like I did notice the texture quite a bit, but it didn't take me out as much. Here, this also has texture, so I was thinking like just in here, like just take that down to almost a straight black, maybe like one transition color of grey, right? But to have that more cartooniness, because as you said, like when we take a look at the source material right here, very stylistic, as you mentioned, and like right here, if we just focus in, I don't know why I'm doing hand gestures, but I'm going to keep doing it. If we just focus in on like this area right here, like imagine a triangle right here. um so if we focus in on that, we can, I think like it's perfect. So just imagine an extended triangle. We go like that, the head sort of at the center of that triangle. I think the miniature looks perfect. And I think down here, like you said, if we sort of fit that into the other style, I think it would look a lot better. And same with the boots, right? But not so much the metal or anything else.
Yeah. I guess my biggest point and the thing that I would really like to see is just because I would say the most interesting thing here is you started this really stylized color scheme, but I feel like a lot of the I feel like you kind of went back to more what's comfortable for like like the glass too.
Yeah.
Like the glass is very stylized and the bottom of that is very stylized. It just feels like um I feel like you're just, there's more that you want to add to this, but I would say just go all in with the comic book style. Like even on like the underside of the cape, the red, and even the belt buckle, I would suggest like going in with some black and just like creating your own shadows and just because that's kind of what you've done with the recesses, but just being a little bit more brave with that. I think there's a lot to like here.
I'm just gonna read
It's
out
just
what.
picking a direction.
Sorry, Mishmash. I'm just gonna read what
Oh yeah,
Nicholas
don't
he's
worry.
commented. So the black isn't highlighted at all. It's all straight pro acryl coal black. Not sure if because the finish is very matte, it looks so gray.
Maybe it's
That is the
because,
most
The
matte paint
lighting,
you're gonna
maybe.
have.
yeah,
Coal black is so matte.
maybe it's because of the light reacting.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe try using a different type of black within that. So like we use scale 75 black, as like a, yeah.
Yeah, the
May
exposure might be a touch too high.
Well,
Yeah.
that could be it. So maybe maybe
Try
try.
an updated photo, and
Yeah,
we'll take
we'll-
a look there.
Yep.
So all you have to do, right? Most phones can do this. So when you go open your camera app on your phone, just tap on the part of the screen where you want it to focus. So just tap on the model within the camera app, and that'll focus the model. And then on the side of it, there should be a bar that appears with a sundial on it, and that's how you raise that bar up or down to adjust the brightness. Just bring that sun down, and that should help it.
All right. Well, let us move on.
Okay.
So next up we have. Oh, do you want
You
to
shall
say your
save.
comment from before? Oh, all right. You wanna tell us when you saw this?
Oh yeah, it's still loading up for me. Let me take a gander. Oh wait. Oh yeah. I wasn't sure what I was looking at first, so I just heard the Breaking Bad theme in my head. Oh yeah, it was if you want to go through and yeah, of course, man. No, there's a lot to like about that miniature. So here, if we can go through the images. So
Oh, okay.
this is basing stuff.
Yeah, no. So we're gonna move on to this one. All right.
Oh.
Do you want to read out for this one?
Do I
honey?
read? It's very long.
Well, you can read for a while until you get tired, or until we get tired, and
Okay.
we'll show pictures.
I've not had much time for hobby as I'm doing some 1-to-1 scale basing. I've ripped up the carpets in 2 rooms, and I'm restoring the 90-year-old tiles from under them that may not have seen sunlight since before I was born. I have done a little 30 mm scale basing though. As it's been a week of basing, I thought I'd share some pics and what I've got done. Okay. It's beginner stuff, but I'm waiting for my floor and my bases to dry, so why not? The models are built and I've put pins in their feet. I've drilled matching holes in their bases and used a pen to draw around their feet and any other parts that get close to the base. I've also used a pen to write the model's name on the underside and point out the front. Then I got out my 3 pots of rocks. The top pot is kitty litter. The bottom pot is
Yep. Yeah. Keep
You're
going.
getting to it? Okay.
Yeah.
The bottom pot is gravel from a pothole in the work car park.
Well, I will say this, and there actually is something to it. I don't find that that's one of the most important things too, or for me anyway, that I find fun about the hobby.
Yeah.
Is it really does encourage almost this childish excitement to see things out in the open world. I have beach sand that I collected.
Oh yeah.
On vacation.
Oh my
Beach sand works so well for basing. So I'll sometimes get dirty looks from family members when I'm just grabbing stuff off the floor because they're like, "Oh, you don't because I'm for my dollies. Shut up, you know me."
For my dollies.
Well, yeah,
That
and
gives
I
me
think
throwback
we're
memories to something, but yes.
I think these are really good actually.
Yeah.
Especially the use of kitty litter.
Clean
Obviously,
kitty litter. Clean kitty litter.
well,
Let's point it out.
Clean clitty lit. Oh, sorry.
I heard you say it the first time, and then I was like, they're gonna say it a second time, aren't they?
I was just repeating it to make fun of Cal here, and then I realized, oh no,
Maybe,
oh no, I got caught in the trap.
Uncle Adam, or
Yeah. Well,
Tabletop Minions, he did a very good video specifically on the usage of kitty litter for basing, and I think this is I personally have kind of an adoration for the classic Battlefield bases. I really I know it's this cool thing now to make fun of Games Workshop's art style because people think it's just because it's Games Workshop stuff, there aren't painters behind it. But I like the classic Battlemire, I like the urban look to these bases. I like the usage of if you want to go back to them really quick, I really like just the level of detail. It feels like this is a leveled city or just a leveled war zone.
Well, here's the interesting
It looks like
part.
rubble.
once he paints this up, usually Joseph has very sort of naturalistic areas, and so that shows how much color can do. Because with this, right, this is just his prime, and then he'll go over this with like earthy and sepia tones.
Oh yeah.
And that's how he usually does his bases, and he'll just add a tough. Like Joseph is the master of minimalism. He's like, we always talk about how a base needs three elements, right? It doesn't need a lot. It only needs 3 elements, right? And so he'll use this and just a tuft, like a tuft or two, and it will look absolutely amazing. And just that's the one thing that we tell people: you don't have to put in a lot to basing to make it look good. But yeah, please continue, Mishmash.
Well, I think what I really like about it too is, like, his whole point is to be to scale. And I think, like, again, this is something that Tabletop Minions talked about, is like sand. Like, it depends on the grit, obviously, but it doesn't exactly look like, if you're going for a sandy dune or a sand, like even if it is rubble, it ends up looking like these are proper pebbles. These wouldn't be like sand grains. So I like the level of just everything looks. It's the most natural looking base I've seen. Just even with the prime, there's a lot to like. And not only that, I feel like you can go in so many. I mean, there's so many directions you could go. You could use, as you said, sepia tones, earthy tones. You could also use, like, something that I always do for Mars bases, a little bit of Gorgrunta fur mixed with some Gryph-hound orange, and you could very easily turn it into a red, wasteland. You could go. I feel like this is such a
trying to find the
universal and like versatile base design.
Yeah,
I really like it.
Yeah, no, like we said, he is the master of this, and I think that's why he's showing the whole process, because often we talk about how important it is just to, like, see the process. Because what I think happens for a lot of people, and what I really like about your thing, and ironically, somebody else who's very similar to you but has a very different style. Have you seen Brushstrokes Painting Guides?
Yes, I have, actually.
He's very similar to you in that he shows his mistakes. It's just he's got a very sort of British response to how he fixes his mistakes, and it's like, oh, we've got a mistake there. We'll fix that up in the next bit. and you're just like, I stuffed this, but don't worry about it. We just patch over that sort of thing. But I think we should move on to the next one, because we've got quite a few, and we've been taking our time. So next up, we've got
Matthew.
Hold up, did I skip over?
It was a post.
Oh, do you just want to quickly read that out?
Am I the only person who grabs their dropper bottle of water and gives it a little shake on reflex, as that's what you do to all dropper bottles? Gotta mix that tap water thoroughly before use. Yes.
Alright, so next up we have Matthew.
Okay. So I don't paint minis. Gunpla is my thing, but WAYPN content is helping me with my next build. Ooh!
Yeah, no, man.
I'm
like,
very glad.
Hobby is hobby, right? Hobby is hobby. Don't worry that, you're not doing the right kind of hobby. It doesn't matter if you're doing 40K. It doesn't matter if you're doing, 30K. It doesn't matter if you're doing railway stuff. It doesn't, like, if you're doing hobby, that's awesome, right? I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah, WAYPN is about what are you doing now? What are you painting now? It doesn't matter what it is, as long as what we are aiming to do is to get people to hobby better, hobby consistently, and don't give up on your hobby because, life's getting in the way, or like you just wish someone would give you that little extra encouragement, a little extra push. And that's what we aim to do here with WAYPN. I think it's looking pretty nice. What do you think, Mishmash?
Well, you did mention Railway, and a lot of those people are into like Thomas the Tank Engine, and I don't like that.
Oh, I think
And
you're
we used
talking
to,
about a very different crowd that likes Thomas the Tank Engine.
yeah, we used to pour boiling milk on them. But no, I really like this already. I really like the decals. I really like the level of detail. There's like, especially the decals to me are what I
Yeah.
really like. I really like that there's I'm trying to it's a very specific art style that I'm trying to like describe and think about,
Is it
and a very
anime?
specific like thing. Yeah, it's anime, but it's like god, it's so like absurdly specific. Uh
Early
one of
90s
my
cell
favorite games
shade?
of that uh it reminds me of the Unreal Tournament, like the old Unreal Tournament art style, where it's these bold colors, absurd detail on very simple models like this, because I would argue that a lot of Gunpla, like this one specifically, isn't one with a lot of bombastic, elements to it. It's kind of the basic design, but there's so much like the symbols, the numbers, the hazard symbols, like the it's one of the most like detailed in terms of like, I don't know. I've never seen a model with that many decals on it, is what I'm trying to say. It feels lifelike. And I really like the like kind of gunmetal scrapes
Yeah.
on the outside of all the armor. It feels like something that's seen combat, but it's like there's a story here that I really like, because it doesn't look like a traditional Gundam with these symbols. It feels a lot more like almost sport like.
Mm.
Like it feels like the guy that's piloting this is like
Oh, yeah,
he
no.
kind of
I see what you're
yeah.
saying because of those certain images.
Like very F1 racer type
Yeah,
of
yeah.
thing.
So
Yeah.
I grabbed an image. Is this I'm gonna do that horizontal flip. Hopefully I can. No, it's
No,
it.
flip
Yeah,
horizontal.
Unreal Tournament 2004.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here we go. Come on, machine. Work with me here. I'm trying to. Okay, flip this.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't want me to. Come on, hold up. Where's the? Okay, flip this, and then we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Alright.
Finally.
So, sort of like this, how it's got that sort of damaged look to it and so on, but it's not quite realistic
Yeah,
because the
there's.
yeah, you go.
I'm trying to remember the character's name, because you'll once I find it, you'll understand completely where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Um, me, it's on the tip of my tongue. That was like the first game that I ever really got into,
Well,
or the first FPS I really got into. So
that's all right.
yeah,
So,
continue on. I will figure it out with the moment. I need to. This
so
is in my brain.
the only thing that I've got to say, right, it looks like he's doing a lot of real life knife scraping and such, right? And so
Hmm.
I see some of these paint splatters and such, right, which I think might be actual chipping that he's doing, right?
Mm.
But the thing is with the actual chipping and all of this sort of thing, since it is plastic, right? You're not getting a realistic effect. And I know that might sound a little odd to you, but follow with me now, right? The reason is because these Gundams in the shows, they're not shown as made out of a polycarbonate. They're shown as, oh, is that the image you want me to pull up?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, it does
character.
look a lot like has a similar vibe, yeah.
So,
It doesn't feel like there's this like, it doesn't feel heroic. It feels like this is done for sport. This is done for a profession rather than a. It feels like a mercenary rather than somebody
oh
that's like a
yeah,
hero,
yeah, no, I would 100% agree with that. So
and I like that.
even in here, right, you can see with the dullness of the grays and that sort of thing, right? They're trying to simulate the idea of steel, and so with this, that's the only part that I would say, you might want to consider improving on, right? Like for example, here you see how you've got that peeling paint, just absolute perfection, right? I think that looks absolutely fantastic. But when we go back to your shield, which I think is one of the best features of your paint job, it's just like that scrape right there. If you ran a brush along those areas with some steel, on it, like some true metallic, like, I don't know, a lead belcher, whatever, right? It doesn't matter what the metallic paint is. Just that, I think it would look so good. And maybe consider sponging as an option to do damage, because at the moment I'm not sure how you're doing your damage, but maybe you can talk us through your process next time. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. Otherwise, we'll never get through. We got more from Joseph.
Yes, the Gambler for Kingdom Death finally finished. The Black Knight and pals are also primed and ready to paint. Yes, the Ball of Humans. It was quite a difficult thing for him to achieve, according to what he has said in previous posts.
All right, well, Mishmash, what are your thoughts?
Let me update once more. I quite like this. There's a lot of... I want to know... So I assume this isn't... I'm trying to figure, like, the miniature itself, the guy holding the Ball of Humans.
That's called the Gambler. Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Yeah, excellently painted. I like the OSL. It's simple but effective. I think the humans being just monocolor I think that is purposeful. Though I feel like it almost kind of takes away from how good the miniature underneath is painted. I feel like maybe... And it might be the lighting too. I'm sure maybe the model looks more, or I guess the kind of mannequin-esque models look different in person. I think it's very well sculpted. It just, there's something about it that I'm not really sure what the verbiage is here.
Yeah, they do actually look pretty flat. I'm just gonna say, I think that one of the things that would have been really good is bringing out some of the individuals. Like, for example, this guy right here with the very well sculpted musculature. Like, I think it would have been good to maybe do people, even if they're all sort of similar skin tone, right? Do like slight variations so that you could pick out individuals, if that makes sense. Now, I understand that he's going for tabletop plus is what he says he aims for, right? Like,
I would agree. That's what I usually go for.
Yeah, he's not just looking to game with it, but also, like, it looks nice.
Yeah.
But I do feel like you could slap some contrast on some of these guys.
Like a flesh shade of some sort.
Yeah, like...
I think almost a red shade. I think there's...
Reichland flesh shade?
I think...
No, he was saying red.
I would say almost a Carroburg crimson.
Oh, wow. So straight up red.
Carroburg.
Yeah, okay.
Like over the flesh, just to add like this weird, because like to me, Carroburg would add a little bit of a just inherent instinctual, like, I don't like looking at the skin in a good way.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Like kind of a Silent Hill-esque, like there's something about this that feels off. There's something about this that feels wrong.
You're not thinking about Silent Hill. You're thinking about a completely different thing, and I'm gonna bring it up in just a moment.
I'm mostly thinking of Eternal Darkness, but that might be
because here, once I post the picture, you'll never be able to unsee it. Oh my god, it's 10 megabytes. So yeah, I'll just go around on the image. I'm getting that up. But I thought that the cape was particularly impressive. Like, I think that looks just absolutely fantastic.
Brought out every highlight and crevice.
Yeah, I think that the way that he's done the grey skin is really interesting. I think that this guy is really interesting himself. And yeah, he does absolutely fantastic work with these lanterns. I think that they look just...
Yeah, doing an Eclipse-esque. Yeah, I see what you mean.
But yeah, so
you want
I
to
sent
show
the
pictures?
picture. Yeah, I just got it up. So hopefully here we go. All right,
This
Yeah.
is basically that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks exactly like
So-
Kingdom Death. Oh my god.
So this is Berserk, and this
Yeah.
is one of the inspirations of it. And I think that's what you were thinking of, unknowingly. Thinking of...
No, not that red. I mean, like, just a little bit of red to the flesh. Like, adding, like, this layer of, like, irritation. And, like, it's still clearly flesh. I don't mean, like, dark red. I mean, like, still flesh, but this, like, lingering look of,
okay.
like, irritation.
You're talking about, like, sore or irritated flesh, yeah?
Yeah. Like,
I think
it's alive. I think adding, because it looks to me like it doesn't look alive. It just looks like a
porcelain doll.
Yeah, and if it looks more flesh-like, that to me is far more like just the idea of this ball of humanity that is somewhat alive, but not alive.
Yeah, I follow what you're
I
saying.
don't know. Yeah.
I think that effect might take a lot of work. So next up,
Yeah.
we'll move on to Davith because we still got quite a few.
There's quite a few. Yeah. Okay.
So this is very much up your alley, but please read out while
Been on a bit of a kit bashing kick this weekend, returning to my Space Wolves once again to make my interpretation of the company heroes box, but with a bit more Fenrisian flair. As ever with units that are effectively Wolf Guard, the Wolves version of veterans in any other chapter, I wanted to make them all seem like heroes in their own right, so dug into the bits and discarded parts from other builds to see what I could do. I know GW gets some, not always undeserved flack for their design choices, but the modularity, especially amongst the Space Marine range, outstanding.
Yeah, modularity is, I think that's my biggest annoyance with the new sprues, but we'll get you to comment on the mishmash. I'll try and focus on one picture at a time so that you can comment.
Yeah. So I feel bad in saying this. I really don't care for Space Wolves, but I really do. They're probably one of my least favorite chapters, and I couldn't quite tell you why. There's just something about them that I dislike. But I really like how this is done because I like, especially the weapons.
Mm-hmm.
The heads are, I won't say much beyond like.
You don't
I
like
really
Space Wolves, we get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the usage of the Phobos, or what are the stealth guys? I don't know. I like that they're using regular size bolt guns rather than the bolt rifles. That's my least favorite part of Primaris Marines. I find the bolt rifles to be, they look like Nerf guns to me, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So having the well-proportioned ones, I really like. I like the use of the resin bits. I think you really applied the loincloths and the capes particularly well. I like how they are underneath the backpack.
Yeah.
I think the posing is good. I think a lot of these resin bits actually hold up quite well on these Marines.
Well, if you allow me to interrupt for just a second, I love this sword pose right here. Just like, it has such an energy to it, because like usually we either see them on guard or striking, right? And this is a sort of sword style that you don't see. But of course, this sword style would work as a Space Marine. I mean, like, if you're a tank, essentially that's what they are, a tank running at 50 kilometers per hour. That thing's going to go through anything, right?
Oh, yep.
You know, like, they don't have to slash, right? You don't, like, that's not going to add a whole lot of extra force. But I'll move on to the next lot. I think we've got a sort of group of them together here. Yeah. And if you wanted to give any extra commentary, or we can move on, because I wanted to give it to you because you're sort of the conversion guy.
I will, once I can see the big lot, once it's loaded in.
Yeah, it's only 4 guys, I should say. Big.
Yeah. Yeah, I like them. Well, I like the, I especially like the Ancients. I like the usage of the, I like that you're using some of the older resin faces. Yeah, I like the Phobos gun. I like the little iconography at the top. Just good placement of it. You can tell what these guys are all about. There's a lot of conversion here, but like everything. It doesn't feel like too much.
Yes,
These guys feel like actual. These are definitely veterans. They're not just regular Space Wolves, but they don't feel overdone.
Yeah, no, I would 100% agree. I think that they look I think that they look great. But now, Davith, you've got to paint them.
Yeah, you keep posting conversions and you don't actually paint any of them.
Yes. You must paint the things. All right, next up we've got Forge Katoan, and Forge Katoan is great in many ways. He just shows off what he's got and what he's doing. All right, would you like to read out?
Gotta love yard sales. Everyone using the new Fanatic paints through an airbrush, and are they any good doing so?
We do not know yet, but yeah, so Forge will like often just post a box, like the box of the thing that he's bought, and then he'll put it together, and I love it. I love seeing like the excitement of the whole process. It's just like, I got this thing. Look at me get this thing.
Yes. Now I will do things with this thing.
But yeah,
I imagine he shrimped over his desk taking this picture, just completely like bent directly down.
Like a Japanese bow sort of thing, just like right over it. Yeah.
I can hear the creaking.
So I'll just read this one very quickly. It's Member Monday. It looks like we got a bumper copy of Recruit. Thank you all for joining us. So usually I talk about how there's no digital soil and so on. Just for you guys watching now, usually I go, there's no digital soil. It's all about people. People are what makes a digital place, right? There's no weather, there's no anything like that. So yeah. But I just want to say we have an awesome community, and I hope that you join and contribute to it. So everyone, let us welcome our new guests, and we have one question for you. What are you painting now? Make a post about it.
Yeah.
So next we will move on to Liam, and Liam's got a new thing.
Started to paint the silver base on my 75mm ruby weapon from Final Fantasy. Okay, let me try it. X is 5, I is 6. No.
14.
14. Gee.
Yep. Final Fantasy 14. So I think he's just showing off the model, but I do believe we've got a picture a little later on where he's actually put some paint on it. But I tell you what, Final Fantasy monsters are quite funky, aren't they?
Oh, I love it, actually. So they've got teeth for shoes, and he's got like razor claws that are super hooked, and there's a lot of organic shapes going here that's just really lovely. We'll
move on from this one so that we can like try and finish before it's too late.
He's saying, "Can I give me that?"
Charlie Sinclair says, thanks for the welcome message. New to this hobby, been trying to find a color scheme for my channel. I think I've settled on the left one.
All right. Would you like to give your commentary, Mishmash?
If you're saying the left one,
I think
you mean the one farthest to the left. I do that because I really like that.
Yes.
Well, either that or the right one.
Yeah.
The far right one, like both of them, I really like. I think the one on the left is like you're gonna pop out no matter what.
Yeah.
I like agree. The right one for the reasons like I like it better like aesthetically, personally. Like I would like a drawing of that better. But if you want to really stand out with a color scheme, go with that bright turquoise, and I really like that.
Yeah, turquoise and orange is the classic movie colors, and they have just such a great, such a great color scheme.
Orange too.
Yeah.
I
actually really like the one in the middle too. He looks like a guardsman. Like I kind of like it.
I think he stands out the least, though.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Oh, like, for sure.
Like, I guess it's like, what are you aiming for? Like, and for me, I like miniatures that pop.
I really like the rightmost one because because I feel that he's got a bit more cohesion to his color scheme. Like he's got mixture of both dark and vibrant colors, although in the picture it doesn't quite show the brightness of the orange as well as in the leftmost one. But I think with the leftmost one, he can get away with it. I think if it was the other way around in terms of the color composition, so majority orange and then minority cyan would have been a bit better, because I think it's just
I see what you mean.
too much of that color. Maybe it's because I'm not used to
Yeah.
seeing Tau in that color.
I think the only thing that I would change on this one is see how he's done the gun paneling here,
Yeah.
and he's done it over here on this one. I think use that kind of gun paneling because it will be a breaker.
Yeah, it needs a visual breaker, yeah.
Because at the moment you got just a
Turquoise.
big block of turquoise.
Yeah.
And see, if you've got that, you've got this bit of orange, that bit of what would you call this?
It's an orange as well. It's just in
no,
shadow.
it's not an orange. It's closer to
It's kind of an orangey
maroon.
color.
It's,
It's like a. All
closer-
right. Well, now
like
we're
a
getting
burgundy-
nitty gritty.
Like a
burgundy,
burgundy, yeah.
maybe like
Oh, I bet you like
Like
to
a
use words like
brown.
chartreuse.
Chartreuse.
yeah, no,
And I
I
got
think it's called.
sandy.
I think this is GW colors, so I think that's Galvorback red.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And if he had that there, just imagine like you've got this sort of imaginary strip that starts here, goes along there, and will help break all that teal.
Yeah.
Because you'll also have this here, the hand there, and like that'll help break up that big block of teal.
It just needs a bit of breakers.
And another thing that might help break that, so you see on this part here, you could break the face apart. So you could have like a color here for the face, which is different for the rest of the helm, if that makes sense. But like I really think just doing what you've done here, but over on this guy, I think that will really change things. But let us move on. Next up, we have, this is going to be a theme.
Updated workspace. Bought a box that contained a wet, dry, and ink palette with hydration foams and sheets.
Nice. Yes. So it is what it is, but we'll get Mishmash to comment and then we'll move on.
Take a gander. If it's Oh, there we go. Now we're okay. Reminds me a lot of my younger space. This is the L shape. Most definitely reminds me of my first hobby space. Yeah, I like it. It's simplistic. You got a place to put your stuff underneath. Yeah, it works.
Yep. And that's
It does what it does.
yeah, it's pretty much it is what it is. Talk Tuesday, we have this every week and we ask people to come on. And it doesn't matter if you're a famous YouTuber or just one of our people here. People from Mishmash's crew watching, come join us, join the group. It's very friendly. And even if you're only on here for a week, you can come and join us with the chat. Just come on, say you got a mic, you got a connection. That's all we want. Yeah. I mean, Mishmash made it. Anyway. All right.
I have a good mic. Be nice to my mic.
Yes. All right. Well, Sonny, you know the rule.
Wow.
Yeah, that ring.
The ringing is I've been hearing it just throughout.
Yeah.
The entire, it's been annoying my ear, but yeah. I shall read what I said.
Yes.
It's
I
not.
can't roll my R's.
It's not Thursday, but let's make it Childhood Tuesday just this one time. We got a new table, and there were all these corrugated cardboard pieces from the packaging that were hot glued together to keep the parts protected, of course. Yeah. My brother-in-law and I agreed we should get rid of these before Cal or myself gets any art attack ideas. And too late. I got an art attack idea.
So I will play.
This is
That's
an art
awesome.
attack. This is an art attack.
It looks like a Gmod level.
This is art attack.
I like it.
Shipping yard
It is a
cyberpunk
game.
terrain.
No, this is great. Yeah,
It
this
just
is
needs
like
to
it
be
looks
spray coated, and then
like
it'll
a
look good.
like an
I
early
promise.
like Half-Life engine. Like
Oh,
Team
it
Fortress 2.
does.
What's
It-
a Half-Life engine?
It's a game thing.
Okay.
But yeah, so this
you
is
played every game that nobody knows or heard of. Yes.
Yes, I'm an old man.
You are an old man. In fact,
Yeah.
you're so old. I have the proof in my pocket.
No!
Look here.
What is
Not
it?
that you can see.
Oh, a
The
block.
old
Doxing.
Blockbuster ID card key. Holy.
I take
I
it from her.
dangle his past in his face.
All right. So we're
I need to
upgrading.
do something like this actually.
We're upgrading our place at the moment because we're taking our break and we're trying to make the most of our time. But it's time for Sunny to read again because we're moving on.
One moment. Okay. La 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 la. Oh, here it is. Larry has the flu. Are you still here, Bash? I hope you're still here. Yes, he is. Because he just commented. Okay.
You just replied to him.
Yes, I did.
You have.
I can't remember the different usernames. I'm just looking at name for name matches, okay?
You're terrible.
Sneak peek at what I started this weekend. Star Wars Legion Clone Commandos. Very rough and early and still seeing what works and what doesn't. Going in for my first eye surgery in about 7 hours, so I may not be doing much this week. But hopefully I'll be up to going online to see what the rest of you are doing. I hope your eyeball is okay.
Yes, we also hope your eyeball is okay. And it looks like a good start. It does look a little rough, but it's very early days.
This is like just a white prime with a wash.
I think that he's done a dry brush over it. What do you think's happened here, Mishmash?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
It just I feel like there's potential. I don't know anything about the art style.
Yeah. I think
that they're normally there's potential.
Yeah. I think it's just very early on.
Yeah,
so
he's saying it's very rough.
Yeah, so we'll move on. But this is
move into that. Lean into the roughness.
Yeah. Yes. Next up, we've got and I think this is what John is much better at. The
drawings.
The drawing.
Yeah.
I think he does really well with the drawing.
Yeah.
All right. So quick doodle around 20 minutes. So we've got two artists here. We've got Mishmash and we got Sunny. So I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna leave while you two
come
comment.
back here.
It's definitely not a bit so that I can do something. But you two talk.
I don't like custodians. They're dumb. I literally I find them to be one of the most insufferable parts of 40K because it's like I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that.
Okay.
But dumb, stupid, dumb. It's like the epitome of the kids well, I have Space Marines, but they're bigger. Shut up. It's well done though.
So who is this guy? Can you tell? Is it a?
That looks like a Thunder Warrior. That's like a proto Space Marine, I assume. Yeah.
And a Thunder Warrior.
That's what they had.
Smaller than a custom.
They were I think so. Yeah, they were kind of purged out.
Yeah, they are. I know that
in favor. Yeah, but I think they were roughly the same size. They weren't the same. They were kind of. I actually don't know a lot about Thunder Warriors, but yeah, I like the art style. I like the usage of the. I like the monochrome colors, and I like the shading using kind of wet watercolors.
Yeah. The watercolor brush effect, basically. You've got some charcoal and you've went over and smudged it out with water or something. That sort of look to it. It's quite lovely. I think he's the storytelling part of this is the thing that's really.
Well, I think you two have commented all you can, and luckily I wasn't here to blather on about Thunder Warriors and my ancient lore knowledge from Blockbuster Video. All right, let us move on. See, now you can understand why we give Davith a hard time, because we see even more conversion, and we're like, Davith, it's called what are you painting now, not what are you converting now. We're just giving him a hard time, but he has a very big backlog of shame.
Oh, very big one. We've seen his collection.
Yes, he's posted it once. Hey, Broken, how you doing?
Awesome,
yeah, so tell us what you think.
Again, not the biggest fan of Space Wolves, but these are good. I especially like the one in the middle. I love the way the beard flows from the Terminator's chassis. I like just, I mean, the pelts work well. These Some of the faces work really well, poking from the Terminator armor, and I like the weapons. I like that there's. It's kind of harder. This one is a little bit blurrier than the
Yeah.
previous
Yeah.
images.
Yeah.
Um, but like I like the bolters. I like the drum mags. Um, yeah, I don't know. These are the highest compliments you're going to get from me when it comes to Space Wolves. They're well built models.
Well, I think we'll leave it on that one because we got a lot to get through.
Mm,
And
okay.
so next up we have
more from Genuine's unloving
yes,
self.
he hasn't even bothered to talk about us.
The
here, so-
Amanita Shaman from Creepy Tables. He's finally all finished. What a wonderful sculpt and cast to work on. He took a while, but I'm really happy with the final result. There was a lot of different There was a lot of different Lavigi materials.
I do not know.
Me neither.
I think it might have been an error.
An error. And textures to work on and make sure that they had their own feel and character as well as the gorgeously sculpted skin. A really great bust and a joy to work on. Hope you'll like him.
Oh yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got mushy room.
I mean, I'm to quote one of my favorite terminology. I'd love to chill with slime amongst the foliage. I like this guy. I like the cut of his jib. I want to hang out. He seems like, I mean, I want to hit off of that pipe. He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to drink a tall one with this guy.
Yeah. So, now this is just a master class in how to do shadowing, right? So take a look at this, right? Just at this rim, we can see exactly where the light hits. We can see that it hits the rim of this, right? We can see that up here, we get some of that brightness, but not as much, right? But also take a look at the shadows, right? The shadows aren't just darker, but they're bluer as well.
Yeah, so the brightest part, quote unquote, where the sun hits, he's actually introduced yellow into the red.
Yeah.
And then you go from a sort of an orange
Yeah.
to a red to a purple
Yeah.
in the shadow. And that's exactly what we want. If any of Mishmash's people are still on, this is something we've talked about that I wanted to experiment with, and maybe I'm sure Mishmash, since you do art, you would probably have heard of this, which is ambient occlusion. So ideally, if you want to be doing a Zenithal Prime, technically, if you're using this concept of warm highlights and cool shadows, you would be doing a gray-blue for the base, and then you use a mid-tone of maybe a straight gray, and then you have like a yellow buff color on top for the highlights. So you have your, it looks almost it was sunlit, and then you can put your contrasts over on top, and all your values are set, and you have that dramatic lighting effect.
But we also see how he does neutrals at the same time.
Yeah.
So you can see like these little bumps have no color in them, right?
Yeah.
And then you can see back here, right, how they haven't shifted nearly as much as this has, right? They've darkened slightly, but not to the same degree.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like that. And we can see it here with the jacket on this angle. So you see how the yellow turns into an almost green in there. And so obviously we're giving a lot of compliments here, but Stephen's a very accomplished painter, and I would say much better than myself. And this is, yes, Pussa, you exist, we understand. The thing is, like, when you're looking at somebody who's a better painter than you, try not to feel how can I put it?
Discouraged?
Yeah. Instead, try and learn lessons from them. and
like
so many.
break down what you can understand from what
Yes.
you see, because something that we talk about here on WAYPN all the time, and you know, some of the guests that we have tried to encourage on here, they're like, oh, I don't know anything about painting, I'm just starting out. And I'm like, that doesn't mean you don't know anything at all. You know, because most times, especially with higher level painters, the most obvious thing you can point out is the most helpful commentary you can give. Because when you are looking at it from a simple layman's point of view, you're more likely to pick up on really obvious mistakes and details that you know, more established painters or people who are painting for a long time will not pick up on.
And some of the times those more established painters will understand what that person is trying to accomplish, so when they see them doing something like that, it's pretty much the tale of the emperor has no clothes. You know, when you see how something looks, right, whether it's good or not, right, anybody can tell you whether something's a good paint job or not, right? They don't have to be a miniature expert.
Yeah. Anyway, we should let Mishmash give his commentary.
Oh,
We didn't
yeah.
let him talk.
Sorry.
Oh, good. No, I really like how just the texturing along with the just kind of masterclass color theory.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything, especially if you would like to go back to the face, I'd like to see that again.
Okay, yeah. I'll get there.
Just the detail
look at
within the face, it's just kind of everything, like the glow of I'm kind of going off by memory. It should be come on now. Yeah, just like everything, like the eyes feel alive. The hair is very, you can feel the texture of everything.
Yes.
The leather, not like the leather on the outside of the hat, but also the cotton within, you can feel that it's like a spongy texture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
because
kind of
it's like the
irritation
mushroom.
underneath the eyes.
Yeah.
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 It feels, everything here, I can, it's emulated in, it's such a non-real character,
Yeah.
but everything feels so alive.
I
While also feeling a little cartoony at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's so odd because like we've seen the work in progress from the start.
Yeah.
And we remember how green his face
Well-
looked at the start.
Well, because we can still see some of that
That
green,
green.
but hold up, because speaking towards that, take a look at, come on, one more. Look at this side of the hand, and you can see how much of the greens remained, and on this side of the nose, you can see the green.
Green, yeah.
But please continue.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to point out. But I did spot something that sort of made me feel like would be critique for him.
Oh, yep.
I felt that the base of the pipe,
Yeah.
that glow could have, I think, been a bit more improved, because from far it did look like another mushroom in his hand.
Oh,
I
okay.
think I can
Yeah, I can kind of see what you're.
logically I can understand everything that's going on. Obviously it's dark because it's the charred part, but I think that glow effect just didn't quite 100% come through all the way. I think if that part was just a bit more improved, I think that would just be chef's kiss.
I think it just shows that, you know, perhaps Stephen is not a smoker. All right. I think.
Yeah. Well.
I think. We've given heaped enough praise on that, and we shall move on. So yes, Liam has updated.
Oh wow! Look at this.
I think this is a color
candy
shift
red,
paint.
yeah.
Oh, all right. Could you read it out and
Update on the ruby weapon.
Oh,
Done.
all right. Mishmash, tell us what you think.
It is still loading for me, so we're about to see.
All right.
Okay, interesting. So it is one coat already, so there's obviously a difference, but I like it. I mean, I always like candy-like effects like this. Back in the day, I did this with my very early Thousand Suns, so I'm always kind of a sucker for like
I love the Candy Thousand Suns, man. That they are one of my favorite. Them and Color Shift Alpha Legion.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
I think if you're ever going to have a color shift paint and it makes sense, I think Alpha Legion is the one to do it. But I think one of the things based off my last paint job where I did Alpha Legion, I think rather than doing a gloss black undercoat, which they recommend for color shift paints, instead try a chrome undercoat so that
Oh
it's
yeah, that's
really
usually what I
bright.
do.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it pretty much is what it is. It's a nice candy paint and
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
work in progress.
Very
So
excited to see how this will progress.
I think we should just
It does
Yep.
seem like some areas do have more saturation than others. Just
Yeah,
something
like
that
at
I'm
the back
noticing can
there.
actually.
I think that might
Yeah, the back has like a much darker red, but again, that might just be lighting.
Like, you see how that
yeah,
nice
you
highlight?
might be right. Oh, maybe he needs to do another coat, do you think? Or
I don't know.
I kind of like it. It gives more of a. I personally, I feel like it differentiates some parts of the armor.
okay.
The back feels more like a, like it feels more decorative on the front, but the back feels more like a carapace rather than
Okay. All right.
more
That's
intricate
true.
designs of the legs. Yeah, and I kind of like that.
Well, it's a work in progress, so let us move on and we will see.
We've got another one from John. The repainting continues.
Okay. So tell us what you think, Mishmash, and we will
Let me take a gander here once we're on to that.
Yeah, it's still on the ruby when I'm seeing it on the
Yeah.
screen. The ruby. Load, please load.
And there we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so was this the gentleman from earlier? Okay,
I think so.
so all right, so let's take a gander here. So again, some of these details are hard for me to make out because it is from a stream and it's but I think you're doing quite well. I like the
I'll do a zoom in for you, okay?
yeah, I like the chest Aquila a lot. I like using the top part of the wings along with the skull while leaving the lower feathers of the wings a different color. I don't think that's done often enough. I just dropped something, as you could probably hear. I
we
think
didn't.
the
We're all
quartering
right.
section on the knee pad, just you're getting used to doing a little bit more freehand detail with that, and that takes time and effort getting there. But I think I like the colors. I mean, I'm not a huge Dark Angels fan, and I assume these are what these guys are supposed to be. But I think in practice, once you keep at it, there's a lot of potential here.
I would say that there's also a lot of potential here. I think, yeah, it's just refinement, and he reminds me a lot of Cian.
Oh yeah.
Like how Cian started out, and then big improvements.
Yes.
But I think we've already commented a lot on this one, so we'll move on because I think you, Mishmash, talked about the only things that had changed. All right, next up we've got Jason Tate.
Yep. Hashtag with Wednesday. So I guess I'm throwing my hat in the ring for the team. Team Deathwing, aka the Bony Boys, a Deathwing knight that was picked up as the Warhammer miniature of the month in April, giving it a go with the classic scheme. We'll see how I can put my own spin on it as the painting progresses. The bone armor is a bit flat at the moment, so that'll be something to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, joining the battle brother Jason.
All right, Mishmash, your thoughts on the work thus far?
Obviously, work in progress, and
Yep.
you're right. The bone is a little flat, but that's okay. I really like the work that you're doing with the cloth. I like the kind of yellowish highlights that you're going for. I like this very and obviously there's a little bit of gold flake on the cloth itself, but once you clean that up, that'll look just fine. But I like the color scheme. It's not the typical Dark Angels green. It's a much more kind of limey green, and I like that. Yeah,
yeah.
I like the vibrance. It's definitely different. But yeah, I'm curious to see where you take it.
The thing that I really enjoy about this is because this is a total different interpretation of the Dark Angel compilations of the Battle Brothers, as we like to say on our group. It's a bit of a running meme. It's a completely different take because Jason's such a great painter, right? But he has a lot of the Lord of the Rings influences, because he does a lot of Lord of the Rings minis.
Does he?
Yeah, he does the Carnival, Lord of the Rings. That's what he usually posts.
I think you're mixing Jason and Anthony together.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. That was someone
So
else.
I think Jason usually does Warcry stuff, if I remember
Yeah, but
correctly.
didn't he do that dog, the hunting dogs
Yeah, the
one?
hunting dog is from Warcry.
Oh, was it Warcry? I
Yeah,
didn't
it
know.
was from...
Okay, so like
Yeah.
he's always doing these really lovely muted colors, but they all have a certain level of vibrancy to them.
Mm,
And I see that in the green that he's done.
mm.
I see that in the browns that he's used for the leather casing for the what do you call that? The knife, the dagger.
Mhm.
You know, it has a bit more of a fantasy like feel to it as
Mhm.
compared to the usual sort of gothic sci-fi that the Warhammer stuff is known for, and how the others Alex and the such.
Almost noble bright in how
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
approaching it instead of just grimdark.
Yeah.
And I think that it looks really cool. And what I really like is seeing people's different styles, seeing how they approach the exact same subject. And I think it's good. Like, this is why I like groups like this, right? And guys, if you're on the YouTube, feel free to comment. Feel free to agree, disagree with us, say whatever, right? Because that's the whole point of this, right? It's about community. It's about people having their input. That's why we get people on.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I think is really good is seeing that people have such radically different approaches. And as you were saying earlier, Mishmash, I do believe you said something like, I've never seen two painting styles besides the heavy metal that are exactly
Yeah.
alike.
Yeah.
And on that point, when we talked to Brushstrokes, you want to know what he said? He's like, I've seen how the heavy metal style has changed over the years, and I sort of remained the same while they changed. So even the heavy metal style changes.
Oh, it
Um,
absolutely has.
yeah. So Jason said that it's progressed since this one. So I think
do you
we
have
should.
an extra picture?
We'll see. We'll move on and see what else we've got.
Oh, look, it's James's one.
Yes. Next up, we've got our previous guest, James.
Update on current project from the Nemesis Lockdown expansion. Added dry brush Warlord purple to some parts to bring up some color.
Mhm.
Then used the new disgusting slime. Guys.
Yeah, I think it's.
I believe that is a War Army Painter Fanatic color.
Yeah.
To make a well of something liquid. Who wants to put a hand into that? Not me. And finally added some steel metal paint to the metal pillars on the guys to the right. And this morning used the new AP Dark Tone to wash it down and make it more darker. Now I can have my morning coffee.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I want to put my hand in there because it looks like it's lemon lime flavor. So I feel like the one thing that jumps out to me is I think this is a really good start. I'm not so sure about the blue because I feel like the blue yeah, I don't know if I like it. Like it's definitely a vibrant color. It's just not something that I'm not sure it necessarily works with the purple and the green. I like it overall. I like the green pools. I think these are really nasty looking. Yeah. Interesting model. I think the only thing I dislike is the blue, and it stands out significantly.
I think that that's good because if you dislike it, like we like it, there's a bit of feedback that I think everybody should take on board, which is, do you know the game Darkest Dungeon?
Oh yeah.
So these guys did a video game development conference thing, right? And they said one of the most important things is if you have some people who love a feature and some people who hate it, you must keep that feature in, because if you're getting strong emotional responses, you've done something right. But I think that the sludge thing looks great. I think that that looks really good. I think that the purples come out really well up here compared to what we saw before. I think the green looks relatively the same. I think that they're looking good.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to
No, I think I just really like how he's brought up the purple from the last time. It was a bit muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking good. And
Yeah.
I like that Mishmash said, the whole lemon lime flavored sludge. It's a nice sort of vibrancy push to contrast with the muted green and everything else. So it's good contrast. So I think he's done a good job there.
Mm.
All right, let us move on to our boy Alex Co.
Yes, who has been working on this for a while.
Yes, one of the Battle Brothers, yes. I have finished the throne. Now I only have 2 pylons and 3 characters to go.
All right, Mishmash.
Look at
your
this throne.
thoughts?
Take a gander once it's loaded.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So again, I mentioned this to everybody. The picture is a little muted.
All right. Do you want me to zoom in a bit for you?
No. I feel like just like the lighting isn't doing it service, but this is a really well done model. I really like this overall. I love how everything stands out. I love how much the I'm trying to think of what they're called again.
Satan.
They're not Satan shard.
Yeah.
They are Satan. Okay.
Yeah.
So I love how he stands out. I like the chunkiness of everything. There's like a little bit of a like it feels drawn, and I like that.
Oh yeah.
There's a definite style here, and I think there's refinement with everything that will. The only thing that I think could use a little bit of work is the surrounding structure holding the Satan shard.
Mm-hmm.
Just the highlights. Some of them are a little bit. I think some of the highlight placement just needs a little bit more refinement. But other than that, this is the way the greens stand out from these kind of darker, like really dark sea greens, and especially like the obsidian blocks or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Or not obsidian. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. Yes.
This model does exactly what it's supposed to do. It is drawing your eye to the Satan shard, and everything on that part is fantastic.
Well, the one thing that I'd like to point out is how subtle some of this OSL is. So see this down here, right? And we can see just these tiny bits of green introduced into this, reflecting that. And over here, right? Just the tiniest bit of the reflection of the yellow green there. It's not it's not overpowered at all. But
no.
I do believe we have a comment. Would you like to read them out, Sonny?
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. Bash.
Larry has a flu.
Yeah, I also have to fight Grim Dark because I'm interested in weather and wear effects, but I so often see it overdone. Same with OSL.
Yeah, and it's ironic because we see this one and the OSL is just so subtle. But it was the other comment up above. I'm not a huge fan of the heavy metal style because I find myself using some of the techniques without realizing it. I think heavy metal style is good because it's repeatable, but it is so bad in that it is draining. I do believe you said you're a fan of Ninja on Mishmash?
Yeah, I would say I'm a fan. There's if you would like to
okay.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, it's all right. So one of the things that he said, right, is he was doing an example and he goes, and then we do some edge highlighting. And like he does all this edge highlighting and then he's like, and then we do some more edge highlighting. And then we do some more edge highlighting. And he's just like collapsed on the desk. And I think that's the biggest issue with the heavy metal style. It's just all edge highlighting all the time. And it does look good, but it looks good for pictures and it looks good in person, but it doesn't look great. And the things that look great in person are those how do you put it, the gradient styles. as the John and I'm trying to remember the other fella's name.
Miniac.
Vince. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right.
Vince Ventrella. No, he's on a different level to those two. He's but he is dry like a desert. But as Miniac says, the super smooth blends. But yeah, so let us move on. And next up, we have Nicholas Pryor.
Nicholas Pryor, not Nicholas Future. Yes, painting some uruks for. Okay, Mash. It's time to play the game.
Oh yes. Okay. So Mishmash,
Afraid.
we have a game on here, right? There's only two acronyms we have on here which we let people get away with, which is three, sorry. It's whip, WAYPN, which is what are you painting now, and keep those brushes wet, which is
KTB something,
which we were confused on for a while.
When the first time they used
the
it.
The thing is, so that we make the place accessible, you have to make up a silly, stupid name whenever somebody uses an acronym
and does not state what the full name is in the same post.
Okay, so what was that?
So the acronym is here. I'll put it in the Discord as well. So
yeah.
It's MESBG. All right. So what does MESBG stand for?
My ever succulent bulbous gut.
Yes. Woo! All right. So painting some urukai for my ever succulent bulbous gut this week.
Oh
Not as many as painting for let's see, MCP.
We know what MCP is.
Dyslexia.
We know what it is, but we'll let Mishmash play the game for this one.
All right. So what's MCP?
Oh boy. I don't like the word CP. I don't like the.
Oh yeah. Okay. So many coping peoples. There we go.
My chatty
Metro
pop.
City Police.
All right.
Another Half-Life reference for everyone.
Yeah, Metro City Police. Yeah, that works.
Yep.
All right. So, what do you think of the urukai for my ever succulent?
Bulging
I
gut.
like these a lot. Yeah, I like these a lot. I like the squad. I don't see a lot of people painting Lord of the Rings. I almost said Elden Ring. Goodness. I really like actually seeing these in person. I don't really see a lot of people. I always forget that Games Workshop actually has this stuff. Like, it's kind of surprising. Like, one of the most popular fantasy licenses on the planet, and almost, on Instagram it's easier to find, but YouTube, you're not going to find a huge. I don't think it's a very popular thing on YouTube, but I love the banners. I just like how the models look. I like the skin. They stand out. I like the dirty metal. There's just, you can tell what these guys are, and it feels fitting to what they're supposed to be. Only thing I would say, paint the rims of the bases, and then you're good to go. And
yeah.
Definitely just some little details here and there, But other than that, very solid. Love the squad. It feels complete.
I think
obviously there's things to do, but just
hand.
the free hand. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with this one, my dude. So I think I'm just gonna move on to the next one, because it's myself. All right. So when it's your post, you got to read it out. You don't have any posts up here that we know of. Bom, bom, bom. All right. It's Throwback Thursday. # Throwback Thursday. Well, I've been doing a lot of organizing, and behold, all the old junk. And unfortunately, a lot of White Dwarfs magazines must be stored away, as they weren't on a shelf and were surprisingly heavy. So hopefully this week will allow us to organize everything, and next week is just painting and content creation. So behold my stuff. Actually, this isn't my stuff. This is a client's. And here we have my pet 12-year-old boy, according to the bones.
Yes.
But yes. Oh, so many white dwarves, all the way back to 200.
Dad told me
I
to
want all that
sort
Kill
through
Team
his
stuff.
stuff.
Yes, you're not the only one, but it is for my client, and I shall paint it up and make it grand. But yeah,
Take it.
it looks like a bomb hit here.
It is a shelter.
Um,
A shelter of paint.
but then our setup's looking a little more professional. This is what we're sitting at right now, guys.
Look at our fancy sitting and standing table that we're
Yes.
sitting on.
Yes. Well, you have to sit because Persephone's come in
Persephone.
and she's pinned you down.
Yeah, she always likes to sit
And
on my lap.
this is our solution to our bad sound.
Yes. Another shelter, another bomb, another
Well,
fallout
no, I
space.
think this looks all right. The
Yeah.
the Dunas up on the wall and
Yeah.
such. It's not quite as good, but I mean, there's a door behind there, so that's a glass door. So that's
This feels
what-
like a liminal space. This last one with the blankets.
Oh,
That's-
does it? Feels like a
It
little.
feels like
Yeah.
yeah, like the one with the blankets over it feels like it feels auto generated. It doesn't.
It does feel very warm inside
Oh yeah,
because
no.
of the insulation.
So we're having like 5-degree weather here at the
It's
moment.
winter time.
All right, so I'm gonna have to do the conversion because there will be Americans on it this time. So
It's like 70 degrees or something.
no,
it's
let's
not
find out. Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Yes, Fahrenheit. That's correct.
All right, so
Wow,
converter.
1 Celsius is 33 Fahrenheit for
Okay.
you. That's insane.
So here we go. I'll just do that for a second. So I go 5. So it's 41 degrees. And in here it is so much better. It's closer to maybe 15 or 18. Like it's not like, because it keeps in our body heat, so that'd be 64 for American viewers. But we will move on. But yeah, so we are still doing things.
Ooh, the Hades and Megara.
Oh yeah, it's from Disney.
Hercules.
All right, would you like to read out? Oh my god, it's so tiny in this picture.
We
Continue.
can always
What
zoom.
do you mean Hercules?
Yeah, Hercules. Yes. Douglas Elvin says, my cat has fallen off my. Whip, a fun piece that I couldn't resist painting up, blocking in colors right now before we start on the detail work. Megan Hades with a little pain and panic cameo. Yes, I would love to paint Disney models. Honestly, I would love to just be a collector of Disney princesses.
All right. Well, give us your thoughts, Mishmash.
Really good start. I'm a little biased because I'm not a huge Disney fan, but James Woods as Hades is possibly probably my favorite Disney villain. So I am a little biased, but I really like the way the colors are balanced on this miniature. I especially love, especially her dress, just the way that the light reflects off of her leg. I think the colors for, the imps are great. I especially like the green. But yeah, like the facial structure, everything bounces so nicely. It works perfectly. And I'd really like to see how this model looks at the end.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
I really like this.
Yeah, no. I love this sculpt. It's simple and elegant, yet it's got a lot of character to it. And also notice that they changed his face just a bit to make it more realistic.
Yeah, but like a lot of his original facial structure is still there with the way that they've done his lips. You know how he's got very wide.
Got very wide lips. Yeah, he's got a Roman nose and he's got like maybe Egyptian or African lips sort of thing.
Yeah, and it makes him look very sinister in this one.
Mm.
in a way.
Well, I think the reason why he looks sinister is because of that crouching posing over Meg.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's great. But we'll move on. We're getting close to the end, guys.
Oh my god.
Alright, so next up.
It's the Fat Controller. Right?
No.
It's Andy Dickinson saying, leaving aside the time I spent fixing a lot of models because I dropped my case. Dropped his case. Oh, well, this is the guy I spent time on this evening. Progressingly nicely, needs a base, but we'll get there. And I believe someone, I forgot who exactly, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, mentioned wanting to see this more rotund gent next to the skinnier Baron von
that would
Fancy
be me.
has. Definitely has comedy duo vibes, yes. Oh, there he is. He's got a picture of him next to...
Yeah, he does.
To Fancy Pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, Mishmash, give us your thoughts.
Well, obviously, having this character next to the skinnier gentleman, I mean, it's the best phenotype possible.
Yeah.
You know, Tommy Boy and the other guy, I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell from the lighting, but I feel like there's a lot of, you know, once you start adding in the shades, I can smell this character. So
snap.
I can't do my fat guy voice right now. It's not pushing through, but
Give it a go,
yeah,
you mug.
Yeah, give it a go, you mug.
Come on.
I don't know. I'm just thinking like, you know, like
Red Letter Media.
Dude. I just had 3 pizzas, but I could eat. Just, you know, like I can. He seems like a charismatic gentleman that would be nice.
Yeah, here. Yeah, I'll give it a go.
My screen is actually a little humid right now, so
Listen, just a little juice.
There's like a B to everything. There's like,
that's all I want. Just a little juice to calm my belly. Just a liter or 2, maybe 5. Oh.
I always cuss whenever I do this voice. So that's
Fair enough.
I don't know what I can. I don't know what I can and can't say. So I'm just gonna.
That's all right.
Another time.
That's all right.
I'll save the fat guy voice.
So, I think that the way he's done the true metallic metal is absolutely fantastic. Like, unless that's just sheen from the camera, which it could be, but you know, I think it looks amazing. But yeah, the comedy duo potential of these two being together is just absolutely amazing. Oh, I'm gonna.
Just like how sad he looks.
He's looking to beat someone up.
Yeah, he does look very sad.
Detail in his eyes. Yeah.
Oh, he's
I like the lack of detail in the eyes because it makes it better, actually, in my opinion. And I mean that.
All right. Well, I think because this is a work in progress, not quite finished, but yeah, I think we'll move on.
I think we'll be really liking this next one from Joseph.
Ooh, holy cow.
Holy cow, indeed. I painted the Black Knight expansion for Kingdom Death this week. 1 big model and 7 small based models, all with a common color scheme, makes this feel like a god tier warband. Very god tier indeed, Mr. Joslave. Wow.
So yeah, and that's one of the bases that we saw earlier. You know, from the.
Look at that cape. Jeez, it's got a velvet finish. Look. Very nice.
These blues are absolutely fantastic, but yeah, just all of those bases are the ones that we saw before. But yeah, it's ironic how much color can affect things. I think that would be a great example to use. But I'll stop on that first guy when we get back to him, because it's great to see. You know, occasionally. Joseph just really steps up with some of his stuff, and I think the blue is doing a lot of work for him here. I think like he's doing some good stuff, but I think that blue is just so vibrant.
But that just really shows how much understanding Joseph has of color theory, because like he really let the blue shine by keeping everything else muted. It's so easy to get overly excited when you're using very vibrant colors to want to make everything else vibrant too. But he's just been so controlled. But anyway, Mishmash, it's your turn.
Well, additionally, I think the best part about that is it unifies the entire squad so well.
Yeah.
Because not only are they, they're wearing this color, they all have their own flavor, but using this blue, not only like doing it, I think what impresses me the most is it looks kind of identical the way it's applied to each of them. Oh.
Yeah, no, the Discord said that you left the call, but then you popped back in again. I heard the disconnect noise. Yeah,
just the way the blue is applied to each of the miniatures, it makes them just feel they're each kind of different in their own right. They all have very different roles, it seems, but I can tell that they're a cohesive unit.
Well, what do you think of this guy? Because that's the one I thought was most impressive.
Oh yeah, there's so much detail here. I love the detail for the chainmail on the lower section. I like the padded kind of gambeson design. Beneath the blue, but I also really like the design of like the top side, kind of that. I'm not sure what you would really call that. The kind of like scale mail almost.
Yeah, I do. I do think it is actually scale mail, because I'll zoom in a bit, because like.
Oh yeah,
it is scale mail. Yeah, it is just straight up scale mail. Yeah. You're 100% right on that. But I'll give you some more angles now to comment on, if you would like to, and if you'd like to comment on any of the others.
Yeah, I like. This is kind of something that I like in general. And part of it is I like squads that each member feels very different. Like, I like regular Space Marine tactical squads where it's, a squad of like 5 guys or whatever, and they all kind of look the same. But I think it's kind of like the way that, like, if you've ever played the original Halo or any of the Halo games, I always like the enemies, the way that you have, like, you can tell exactly what their battlefield role is. This guy is, a tank, or you could also call him a leader. I like that the smaller humans, you can see like the one, especially with the very large robe, feels more so, support-esque.
I'll find that one for you.
Yeah, like, and part of that is like, it's, part of that is the miniatures, but it is like the sculpts themselves, but like the way they're painted, the way that they're, it's everything is tied together so nicely. Like, yeah, I like the squad. I love the coloring. I love the yellow on the cape too. Yeah, like, yeah, there's just a lot to like here.
Also,
I love the flesh tones.
Another thing that I only noticed now that I didn't notice before was that with this, there's a uniformity in the hair color. If I've noticed, like, oh no, I'm wrong. I have imagined things. I saw this and I thought that was it. It is all right, but yeah, I think this is some of Joseph's best stuff. Also, he's really
each of them.
Yeah. Okay.
I just like that each of them kind of have like their own culture. Like, this one feel very kind of like, that one is very Norse. The other one that we had prior is very like, kind of mid-European. The the one with the executioner sword, very obviously Germanic. This one being kind of Dutch, I guess. I don't know if you would. This one is kind of a mix of everything, but like the leader being this very clear, like, not even clear now that I think of it, like the gambeson design with the scale mail and kind of the almost Mongolian-esque design. I kind of want these miniatures.
Yeah.
But just the fact that you're using this blue to tie everyone together, it feels like such a
Mongolians do mix in a lot into European culture, especially into Eastern European, because Mongol took over a great deal of the world. A lot
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, I get the feeling. Yeah, if I remember correctly, they had a little bit of a stretch of influence.
Yeah,
I think anyway.
a little. But yeah, the one of the things that I was trying to note before is Joseph has had some trouble with eyes in the past. And if we take a look at these eyes, because um the thing is, like, he usually has pretty googly eyes, but with all of these ones, I've noticed that he seemed to have completely nailed the eyes on these ones.
Yeah.
Um, so when I say a bit of an issue, I might be understating dramatically. Like, you take a look at the eyes here, right? There's some smudging, doesn't matter. But you like take a look. There's even directionality, and like here, like it doesn't have that sort of googly eyedness anymore. But I think, I've spent a lot of time on this, so I'm gonna reload this, see if anything has come up in the meantime. But would you like to read for Larry Has a Flu?
Larry, Throwback Thursday, the goth rocker. I've normally seen him done as wearing leather, so I decided to do something a little more 70s/80s and put him in denim. First attempt at really making a
Love it.
base, and pretty happy with it. Did him this past December and January. Also my first orc, so I'm not sure if I got the skin right or if there is a right to do. Anyway, I hope it amuses y'all as much as it does me.
I think that it's really cool that he wrote "war" on it and stuff like that. All right, we will throw to you, Mishmash.
I really like. There's a lot that I love, and to answer your question, no, there is no right way to paint orc skin. I like the vibrancy of everything, but it doesn't feel vibrant to a point where it's like muted or anything. I think there's a good balance. I like that like, I love the highlighting in the denim. I think that is by far like I think the orc skin is pretty well done. Obviously, I think it's very like it's much more on like the very like Hulk green.
Oh yeah.
But like the clothes are like the standout to me. Like the way that the skull looks on the hat, the way the hat is shaded and highlighted, like I think it's kind of impressive that like the most impressive part of the green orc is his clothing, and that isn't like a dig on the green. I just think it's just so well done.
So here's what I'm gonna note. Everybody will be surprised by this, but I'm gonna note the basing. So the thing is, right? Everybody like goes straight to the miniature, right? But there's so much great work with this basing, right? And that's what good basing should do. Good basing should be something that people drink in after they look at the miniature, right? They're like, oh, look at that. And so like there's some verticality with it, right? So we see like there's a bit of a ditch here, there's a skull in here, there's some grass in there and that sort of thing. And he's gotten a bit of height by stepping up onto this rock area, and just it's just very subtle, right? But even see this bit where he's added some height with some cork, right? That right there, it hasn't interfered with anything on the miniature because of the way the miniature is angled. So it's not actually competing with the miniature at all. So I really, really like this basing because like you take a look on here, right? And look how much everything blends together. Like I would say that this is the golden angle for him, but it's just perfect. I really like that. Is there anything that can be improved?
I would say that I think he's done the denim jeans very nicely. I do think that he could have gone for like a more pale acid wash vest jacket, and I think that would really be like the rocker vibes.
Yeah. So denim jeans and then acid wash vest. Okay,
and it'll be not only sort of like Mishmash said, the mix and match vibes, and because orcs are so chaotic, they just like mix and match everything. But it will really add to the nice sort of contrast.
Do they mishmash.
I wanted to make that joke earlier.
Ah!
They mishmash everything together. But yeah, I think if
She
it.
mish on my mash. I'm not gonna finish that.
But yes,
Some delicious mishmash.
no, some good mishmash. Put some gravy on it.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta have like some garlic and some cheese and some chives, a little bit of onion in there. You know. Yeah.
Yes, but other than that, I think it's well
Miniature.
done.
I was thinking about potato, you know, but
Oh yeah, no, I can want to season the miniature too. I'm
Actually,
just gonna take what you said out of context.
sorry, I'm just gonna get back to Larry. He said the acid wash. Wish I'd thought of it. It's not too late, technically speaking. If you just mix that same blue with a little bit of black, but if to be safe, go with the dark gray and white, and you've got like a muted,
like shadow and highlight.
or Space Wolf's gray. Space Wolf gray will work out fine, and then just dry brush over the vest just with a what is that makeup brush, soft makeup brush, and you're golden. It'll get it up to soft the acid wash.
But there is one thing that I would like to point out that none of us have said.
Oh yes.
The eye on the squig
Is
popping
that
out
an
of its
eye?
head. Yeah, see how it's like cartoonishly popping out of its head.
Oh, wait,
you
I
know?
thought this was his
Wait.
eyes.
So hold up, I'll show you. See? Oh, is this its eyes?
That's what I thought.
Are these jacks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
I thought that was its eyes popping out of its
I
head.
thought it would be really funny if that really did happen.
Well, because of the way it was painted on that angle.
And
I was
these-
wrong. I was wrong.
Yes, the man
My
was wrong.
human. I
All that
guess that's
matters.
why I quit out of this and decided to look at other stuff, because we got 2 more posts that were posted while we were
And
talking.
then we will be done. We will be done.
Yes, I will give my classic love reaction, because I love seeing painting. Like, in case you guys can't tell with how much I've been talking about it, I love seeing painting. All right.
Hey, Lance, I am back. Hello, all of you fantastic people. 2 pieces I'm currently working on. Hope to finish shortly.
You know, this. Just give us your thoughts, Mishmash, and then there's something that I really want to add.
All right. Let me see once it actually, because I saw it for a second.
Yeah.
As a big Mordhau player, I like the peasant-esque raider look. This is an interesting model just by itself. It's kind of hard to tell. It feels like you're still in the early stages of painting them, especially on some of the cloth. But other than that, I like it. I think part of it too is some of the lighting is hard for me to differentiate what is highlighted and what is natural highlighting from actually your light source. But I like it. They're
I think
neat.
when Lance first joined us, he had recently had brain surgery.
Yeah.
And I like seeing, like, there was obviously some issues with some of his first ones, like the thing, but it is amazing to see somebody bounce back like this, because I think, like, you would have never thought that unless I brought it up, right? Mishmash. And like the thing is, I think that shows just such resiliency and and such like dedication, because he just wants to do tabletop stuff. He smashes out tabletop stuff. I give him a very hard time about his basing, 'cause he doesn't base really at all. But I think like this looks really good. The edge highlighting. I think that the color choices are absolutely fantastic.
Oh yes.
Very,
I like it.
as you said, medieval peasant. And like, I'm so glad to meet somebody who actually understands that medieval does not mean like what is it? What's the movie Medieval? It's like black and brown, isn't it?
Yeah, like rags of woven what's that, a gunny sack material?
Gunny sack, jeez.
Potato sack. I'm
Yeah,
just thinking
potato
about it.
sack, yeah.
Yeah. But I think like he's done really good. Like just dry brush for highlighting, that sort of thing. I think the face has come out well. I like the beard. I think that you've got a coffee stain here, which you need to fix up a bit. But other than that, I think that they look great.
Yeah.
And
I especially like the yellow one.
yeah.
I really like I like the green one, but I really like how the yellow one turned out.
Well, I think that like yellow's such a hard color to get right as well. So
Though
yeah, go.
I will say, and again, it is I can't 100% tell if it's natural lighting from the room, but looking at the left, or I guess rather the right side, if you could go back to that last one,
Back
or
to
that
the
last
last one?
picture of the green.
Is
Yeah, the
it-
last or just like the highlighting of the green on the green one. Like I really like it. And again, part of it is I can't 100% tell if it's natural, but if it is intentional, very good job.
Yeah.
Mm.
Either way, they're well painted.
Yeah.
There's
I think they're absolutely fantastic. But next up we have Jason Tate.
Oh,
The
yay!
update that he was talking about.
Yes, finally. Hopefully, I'm just gonna see. I'll just tag him in the chats and see if he's still on. Forget SG. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
We are talking about you now. Okay. Alright, quick whip update on the Deathwing Knight, inspired by Richard Gray's style. Not following his recipe, but trying to get similar results. Hashtag Battle Brothers! Oh my god! Oh my god! Ah, shit!
getting there.
This is great.
Yeah, this looks really good.
Alright, well give us your thoughts, Mishmash.
All right, so first and foremost, again, I was excited to see where you would take the green, and you've taken it to a level that I really like. I really love the kind of bluish, like shadows within the green.
Mm-hmm.
It gives it's not traditional green. It's like, or traditional Dark Angels green. It's like,
Yeah.
this feels like its own thing.
Why are you
does.
trying to
really-
do the Valley Girl?
Did I?
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
Well, I was agreeing with passion. Jeez.
That's what you see when you see a Dark Angel. If you're not well, I mean, I don't really like Dark Angels, but this scheme I actually quite like for him. But I especially love, like, especially on the knee, like just the way that it blends, like the bright highlight on the knee, and just how it like
shadows,
the colors going. Yeah, it's so like it's realistic, but it's also like it looks painted.
Yeah.
And I mean, it looks painted in like it feels like traditional like art style painting, and I
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm,
It feels like my only worry is, and I want to say this now, I really hope the shield doesn't obscure that,
Right.
because the shield that's going to be attached to his hand, I'm kind of like, that's the saddest part of
yeah,
saddest reality in
no.
miniature painting.
I see what you're saying. I 100% see what you're saying, because the shield will go like that. It's gonna be a close thing. It's gonna be a close
It
thing.
might cover half the shin, half the leg. I think.
Maybe.
But it'll still work, because if the shield is there, you'll still be able to work with that highlight. It'll still look just fine, because it's the light will be peeking through based on your light source. I'm sure it'll look just fine. But I also like the little just the slight bit of corrosion on the chest aquila. There's just like this little
Oh
tiny
yeah, I
shadow.
see the verdigris right here, right
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
And
see.
it's not in your face corrosion. It's like, just like, yeah, this is ancient armor. They're Dark Angels. And
Sorry, I'm just gonna read out what Jason has said.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
saying that the shield follows a slant line, like the line of a slant.
So on that, it looks like there is a tiny bit of corrosion in down here
Yeah,
as well.
You never
Like-
see that with Marines. Like nobody ever really truly
Does
looks
subtle.
like that. Like the only time you see that is with Death Guard. You don't really see that with
and
any of the
usually
other
they
Marines.
go
Over the top. Yeah.
I like to try to do that with Parasite Brown. I usually try to go for the more traditional rust, but I always water it down significantly on rivets. And I think like slight weathering to me, like I like the chips and battle damage, because I feel like most Marines that aren't battle damaged at least a little bit, it's like, oh, they didn't even they didn't even bother getting to the battlefield. Like they're
Mm.
they're sitting in their huts.
Look at
They're
that
sitting
one.
there, their little fortress monasteries. But this, like the shield, like the little just, it's so superb the way that the colors fall on it.
Oh my
Well,
god.
There's direction to this.
You know what it feels like now? It makes it feel like the Terminator armor is what it is. So Terminator armor, like in the lore, is apparently just re-engineered mining gear that was meant to help miners survive anything. Literally anything, right? Like say there was like an explosion of some kind, right? The miners would be completely fine. And so like it supposedly can take a nuclear blast, but like it doesn't look like great knightly armor in one way, right? But in another way it does. And like, but it also looks so industrial at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what this?
And
Oh, sorry. No, please finish your sentence.
oh, I was
first.
gonna say he replied actually, and I'm glad that I was able to pick up on that. And I say that because like I think you've made it very like clear with how you're trying to do it.
Mhm.
And even though I'm not a huge fan of Dark Angels, I do like their Deathwing is easily the most interesting aspect of their chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And this really does kind of capture that, like there's I can feel the same vibe that they try to do with, like, if you've ever played Space Hulk Deathwing, like the whole feeling of you're not just a regular Terminator, you're a death or a Dark Angel Terminator. You are a secretive, ancient, you're one of the originals.
Yeah.
And you're shrouded in mystery. There's this aura that no other chapter really has, and I feel like you've really captured that.
So
this feels like a Dark
I'm just
Angel.
going to read out his comment so that people can pick up on it who aren't looking. Mishmash has picked up on my vibe. Wanted this ancient armor coming out as a last line of defense. And yeah, I think it does feel like that. And I think that's what I sort of meant with the mining gear sort of thing. Because it feels different. It doesn't feel like, this is a Duda guy, right? Like this, you can almost hear the boss music starting when this guy comes out. He's going to be a little slower, but then you're going to have your gun or your sword or whatever it is, and you're gonna like hit him, and like where you smashed everybody else to pieces, he just sort of turns his head and looks at you, and you're just like, oh no, things are gonna go wrong for me.
I've been waiting to point out my commentary.
Oh, go for it.
I thought when I looked at the back of the Terminator angle, if we could turn.
Yeah.
I thought it looked like
this is
so
washed out.
Okay, I have to get a better picture.
It's all right. Continue.
It looked
No,
like
I can tell
that limestone walls, like the Roman limestone wall, and it gives that. It's a completely different take on a Terminator that is unseen and unheard of personally to me, and it's just so great just seeing the different variations. Like Mishmash, if you saw Justin's and Alex's one, you'd be blown away by how completely different directions each of them has gone. It is insane to me, and I just now I think Jason's one is my new favorite. I couldn't choose before. I still can't choose now, but like it's got me excited. Blue. Yeah,
it's hard to see with how washed out it is via stream, but like just these light variations of, and again, it feels like. And a lot of, I think, like some chapters, that are more, there's definitely like the ones that are more militaristic, like Imperial Fists are definitely more on that side of like, it doesn't have the big grandiose of like, they're not knights, they're just like, they're pragmatic, we're doing our job, this is what this unit is for, this is what this unit is for.
Yeah.
This is like, Dark Angels, their Terminators are for a very specific purpose. This feels like an ancient knight that has had this feels like a Marine that survived.
Yeah.
He feels like someone that, he has been through it all. He is thousands of years old. He does not care. He is not afraid to die. No alien is gonna, doesn't matter. He's going to win.
He is. I think he's just completely nailed it. What I am looking for is once he can finally put in I think there's meant to be some sort of decal or patterning that you're supposed to put on that shield at the shoulder there, and I just can't wait to see the finished product.
I'm sure it'll look great, but I'm also like a little sad because it's like the shading is so good.
I know. Oh,
it's like with like certain metallics, it's like, oh damn, like it's gonna look great, but I also am like, oh man,
it's gonna cover it up, and but yeah, that's our last.
Yeah, I'm just double checking. Yeah, so Mishmash, what we do here is at the end of every recording, or I should say stream. At the end of every stream, what we do is we throw to our guests and we say, "Is there something in the hobby community that you think we need to be talking about that isn't being talked about?"
Man, that can go for a lot of things.
I know, right?
Well, I mean, I made a video on it that I think is kind of important.
Oh yeah, no, good.
Please talk about it. Yeah.
Why don't you? I'll grab the link to that video while you talk about it, and I'll put it in the chat.
I think if there's one thing that I really want to make clear, and a big part of it is just, YouTube's side of the hobby.
Yeah.
There's no one right way or wrong way to paint something. Don't ever feel like there's so many painters that use the terminology of fixing certain miniatures and fixing paint styles that they don't like. And I think some of them, it is a misunderstood terminology. Some of them are just, it's more so like an unfortunate way of describing how I don't like this, let's do it different. But there's definitely a lot of people there's definitely a lot of personalities that take it to a point of my way is right, your way is wrong, which is the exact opposite of what art is. Find your style, do what you like, and don't fall into these weird trends. Do what you think you want to do for your miniatures. Don't feel like you have to. I know a lot of us like to show off our miniatures. I definitely do.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I do it. I do a whole channel on it.
Yeah.
But do what you find, you got to learn along the way, but don't feel pressure to, do these trendy model styles. Slap chop is just fine, but it's, just paint what makes you happy.
All right, shall we sign out then?
Yeah.
So, do you want to give your sign out? Because I love your sign out. I think that your sign out is great.
I need to go. All right. I think we've flapped our beaks enough. So remember to mishmash, kit bash, and paint some fantastic miniatures. And you're gonna.
Yeah.
We promise. I think they can. I can at least. Yeah. I don't have anything else that I add at the end. So see you.
And for us, keep those brushes